Okay, I was sitting around, I was thinking, I hadn't done a video in a while on any survival stuff or any, bushcraft or anything like that. So I come across some of my old char cloth and my fire steel, flint and fire steel. So I was like, well, I hadn't found the flint, but I did find some of the old char cloth I had. And I thought, well, maybe I'd do a little block of instruction on that. And basically, so what is char cloth and how do you make it? Well, char cloth basically is a cotton. You use cotton as one of the better materials. Some people use punk wood, but the common thing is cotton material. This is some stuff that I made from before. And when it's heated up within a tobacco tin or like I'm going to show here an Altoids tin, it'll take a spark from your fire steel when it's struck on a flint, which is basically a rock. And it'll leave a spark on here, a little hot ember that'll come off the iron that comes off of the steel here, off the steel, little chip of it, and we'll heat it up. And I'm not going to show that today. I'm going to do that in a totally separate video that I do because I can't find my flint right now. But basically, you'll take this and you'll strike it against. You'll put this on top of a flint, which is a rock, and you'll strike the steel against the flint and get a spark on this. And then you will take this and you'll gather up a bird's nest, which we call it, which is basically old dried out grass, and it can be any kind of fibers that you find out in the woods. I was trying to think of the exact term of it, tulip popper or whatever, different dried up twigs and grass, and you make your bird's nest. And then you blow into this and you can get it going. It's what they used to use in the old days. Jeremiah Johnson and those kind of folks used char cloth. They kept in a little bag with their fire steel and their flint. And they could do multiple fire starting with just using cloth. So how do you make it? So first of all, most times back then they used a tobacco tin. When I'm using an alkaloids tin, alkaloids or whatever, my wife uses these for breath mints. And what you do is you cut up fabric, cotton fabric. What I used is old blue jean material. That's what they used in the old days. They cut them into strips. This is the pocket material. It's all supposed to be 100% cotton. So you put it in the tin, and I put one hole in the very center, and what I do that for is venting. Now this has hinges on it, and these hinges will vent, so you don't necessarily need the hole. But why I use the hole is because it looks like a little stovepipe, and it'll steam out of there, and it'll release all the chemicals that are burned off of the cotton, and it'll then let you know when it's done. It takes 5 to 6 minutes to make it, and so I'm not going to bore you with the whole video, but what I am going to do is I'm going to start this and get this going, and then once it gets rolling real good, I'll put this on here. I'll put it on time lapse, and I'll show you us making this. So we'll get it going, and I'm going to put this on time lapse. So I'm not going to make you wait, and we'll get this thing rolling. We'll show you about 5 to 6 minutes how we turn those pieces of fabric into this, which then can be rolled up and made into a little ember to start you a fire with a bird's nest. All right. Okay, well, we're back. You saw the time lapse, and it took about 4 minutes, a little bit quicker than I anticipated. Now, what I forgot to mention earlier is you can do this now that it's cooled. You don't want to open it while it's hot because the oxygen would make it flame up and you'd lose all your char cloth. You can use the alcohol stove like I did, or you can use a iso butane propane canister stove, or you can just throw it on a campfire. And dogs, get out of there. And so you can do it. You can do it however you want, but anyway, let's take a look at what we got here. So again, the one you saw, the one hole at the top here, when that stops putting a flame out or any steam or smoke from the chemicals being produced, then you know it's done. Okay, so you can see it pretty well turns the thin stuff into paper. The top one you usually toss, but then all the other ones are usually pretty good. And as you can see, these are all real good char cloth. So you can keep these in the tin after you clean it out and get rid of all the extra debris. So you can actually keep this one if you wanted to. It would still work. You could fold it up and you get a spark, but I'll toss that one. But as you can see, this is all good char cloth now. And it took a lot of pieces to make this. And I cooked it a little longer than I needed to, but I like it where it's fragile and it falls apart enough to where I can still fold it and I can still get it on top of the rock, like so. I should say flint. Get on flint, and I can strike it and light it. There's how you make char cloth, and I will do another video on this, and I will show you how you can take the char cloth, take your flint once I find my flint and steel, and I'll make a bird's nest and show you how they did this in the old days, how they actually made the char cloth work and how they made a fire with it. But basically it's simple. You can do an Altoids tin like this. You can use any kind of small tin that you want to cook it in. You can do it on a fire, a campfire, or you can do it over one of these stoves. It takes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. The campfires takes a little longer, it usually takes 5 to 6. But on this particular one, it only took like 4 minutes. And so there you go, there's char cloth. Stay tuned, and I will, once I find my flint, I will make another video on actually how to, I'm sorry, I was looking down. I'll make another video on how to actually make a bird's nest, and also how to take the char cloth and use your flint and steel and get a fire started. Thanks for watching.